Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. The firm of accountants that has been appointed as the auditors by the SNP to go over the books and then present the results to the Electoral Commission have only been in their position for 4 or 5 days now? And yet already they're courting controversy. Firstly, and early on, it was revealed that they were late in filing their own return to Companies House. Now this is not very professional. You'd expect better from a firm of accountants, but hey, it's the one he chose. And now, a couple of days later, it's been revealed that they are embroiled in a row with HMRC over a tax avoidance scheme. And HMRC are expected to take them to court, and it is expected that the HMRC will win. This will result in massive fines and costs to the clients of this firm and possible censure from the professional bodies. It could even mean that they are no longer accountants. It's that serious. So it seems strange that Hamza Yousaf would align himself with such a bunch of financial cowboys, allegedly. Well, we'll take a look at this article, see what's going on and see why they are running wild in the face of tax law, and to see if it was perhaps not a good idea to go on the word of a mate saying, go down south, there's this firm, they'll do it, they want a bit of money up front, but they'll be okay. Turns out that's not the case. Let's look at the article. So, tax firm run by SNP's auditors accused of potentially running an avoidance scheme, and the company challenged over advice that one expert says will enable families to avoid paying tax on private school fees. And of course you have to remember Hamza Yousaf is one of those little public school boys. He went to a private school, very expensive, paid for by his parents. Never spent a day in a comprehensive or a state-run school. Far from that. He has no grounding in what it means to be a normal person coming from that little bubble. Anyway, a boutique tax advisory firm but run by the Scottish National Party's new auditors have been accused of potentially running a tax avoidance scheme to help parents who are paying private school fees. Signature Tax, an offshoot of AMS Accountants Group, offers clients tailored tax solutions on its website, including advice on paying fees in a tax efficient manner. Now, tax avoidance is not illegal. We're aware of that. There are many forms of tax avoidance. For example, having an ISA. Any money you earn in that avoids tax, and it's perfectly legal and perfectly acceptable because it's small and it offers a chance and it's open for everyone. But these schemes were devised specifically to avoid tax, using highly complex rules, loopholes, that sort of thing, and they are immoral because the rest of us have to pay more tax to make up for the money that these already rich people have avoided. And so yes, it's right that the HMRC does indeed close this down, goes to the courts, should win the case, and then not only recharges the people who've avoided the tax, because once it's been found in court that it's not right, then it is absurd. It stops at that point actually being tax avoidance and becomes tax evasion, which is a crime. But usually they won't then prosecute the people who've done this. They'll present them with a bill. And the HMRC are very, very good at issuing bills, because what will happen is, let's say, for example, you have avoided, let's take a round figure, £100,000 in tax using this scheme. Well, the HMRC will bill you for that £100,000, which seems fair. But they will then also fine you a further £100,000 fine. They fine you 100% of the value of the tax you have evaded. It means you don't go to court and you don't get a criminal record. It's simply a tax fine. So you haven't broken the law, provided that you pay your tax and the fine that goes with it. So this £100,000 saving will end up costing you £200,000. And so there'll be a lot of very worried people out there who've taken advantage of this scheme, and they're thinking, what have I done? It's because greed knows no bounds. Instead of just paying a bit of tax and going away about your business, you've tried to be sneaky, and it's going to come back and bite you, and jolly good too. Anyway, the SNP appointed AMS as its auditor more than 6 months after the previous firm quit, as it tried to reassure members it could avert a significant loss of public funding by filing its financial accounts on time, which is highly unlikely. Even though they've got these people appointed, it's a small firm, they're complex accounts, they haven't got the history of it. There's no guarantee even that the SNP will let them have all the books and all the history. The people who do know things dare not speak of them. When there's going to be questions asked by the accountants and they're going to say, what about this? The people involved, the likes of Peter Murrell, dare not answer those questions because it may well implicate him further in any kind of criminality. So there's going to be a lot of questions going unanswered. And unanswered questions will not do, because the Electoral Commission will want to know the answers. You cannot present a set of accounts and then put 600,000 sundry expense in the bottom without a full understanding and notes to the auditors, or notes to the accounts. It's just not done. They'll have no mandate to overwrite and wash these things. They must, by law, provide full accounts, and that means explaining virtually every penny. There are allowances, there are small allowances, but it's a very small percentage. Certainly 600,000 would never scrape under that radar. You're talking a couple of £100 here and there, nothing major. But you know, for this to wash, they've got to answer those questions. Nobody's going to answer those questions. These accounts are going to take a lot more than the time available. So I think they'll undoubtedly lose their 1.15 million or whatever it is short money. Signature Tax's website says its planning allows grandparents to assist their children in a tax efficient manner by helping them fully utilise the tax-free £12,570 personal allowance and the £1,000 dividend allowance for each grandchild. Basically, yes, you make a company, make a grandchild a shareholder, own one share of that, and then you issue them £1,000 tax-free dividend allowance. Is perfectly fine, and that's perfectly legal, and many people do that. But the tax policy expert Dan Needle said, I don't know how to pronounce his name, said the complex arrangements could enable business owners who can grant shares to family members the ability to avoid almost £60,000 of tax on £100,000 of annual school fees. And so when you've got someone who's spending £100,000 a year on school fees, and they're getting £60,000 back on their tax bill, that is a sort of thing that is not allowable to 99% of people in the country. Most people don't even have the ability to do that, and so therefore it should be struck down, because it is not fair. It is not open to everyone. Tax should be fair for everyone, and if you cannot have a tax applicable to everyone, you should not have a loophole applicable to the 1%ers. He said, I expect HMRC will challenge it, and for their challenge to succeed, any taxpayer who buys the scheme from them could end up very, very expensive mess, given the HMRC's new powers to penalise. As I said, it's the 100% penalty. So yeah, I mean, I hope the HMRC do it, and I hope they give their these tax avoiders and turn them into tax evaders, and then take the money from them. But that's not the point of the video. The point is, of course, that this is the firm that the SNP have appointed as their auditors, a firm that may well be prosecuted very shortly, that seems to be a bit dodgy, that seems to be doing things that are immoral, if not unethical, even if it's not necessarily illegal yet, but it seems very dodgy. So it's well matched with the SNP, isn't it? But it seems odd, because that's the only firm in the country that would be willing to take them on. A firm that is of itself a bit touching the line of legality, shall we say, not necessarily crossing it. But it goes to show how dodgy the SNP must be if they're the only accountants willing to take the job on. And so even then, if how do you trust the veracity of these accounts? And this is the problem they're having. So I'm not going to go on with this. It's just to show them that this is the kind of people that the SNP are aligning themselves with. This is the kind of accountants that the SNP want to do their books over. Sad, isn't it? Anyway, I shall round up and come off. No one objects to someone earning money, but provided they pay their tax on it. But when you are someone who is already very rich, certainly rich enough to spend £100,000 sending your child to school, Why should you get the benefits of a tax loophole, a dodgy tax loophole that may well be very, very soon closed, just because you have that ability to do so? It is unfair. It is unethical. Pay your damn taxes, because most of us, the 99% of us, don't ever or will never have that option. And so it just seems highly unfair. Let's just get these people to pay their damn taxes. And they don't like it, they're tough. There's nowhere else, there's nothing else they can do. They can't send their child to a public school, to a state school, can they? They're not going to do that. So let them, stew in their own juices. They make their choices, and they're going to pay the consequences. Stop being greedy, because that's all it is. It's greed. But it's just the SNP who align themselves again with the wrong side. It seems that every time anyone in the SNP has to make a decision, they make the wrong decision. And Humza Yousaf has done this again. He has appointed these people, and it's turning out to be the wrong decision. They don't call him Captain Fail for nothing. Okay, I think that'll do. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please do hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, but definitely leave the like. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, pay your taxes, and goodbye.